Welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Grey Strega, and I'm here to give you your tarot astrology for today, Thursday, April 9th, 2026. We're going to go through all of the signs and see what is coming up for each and every one. We started last time on Pisces, so we are going to get started today on Aries. One of the big things that we see that's occurred today is that Mars has moved into Aries. There's a lot of planets in Aries right now. We're going to get into it. We're going to start in terms of how that potentially is impacting those with Aries placements. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, what do we have coming through for you today? We've got 3 cards starting today with our 2 of Cups in its reversal, in combination with our 3 of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our Judgment card in its upright. I'm not surprised to see this type of air energy right now for those with Aries placements, because the thing I want to identify about this is it's and I want to understand this. Frustration is the force that we hurt ourselves with. And you understand that deeply. Right? Frustration is the force that we hurt ourselves with, because if we're feeling frustrated, right, we often work worse. Okay? I feel like you need to write that down. When we are frustrated, we often work worse. And when we recognize that, then we start working really hard in becoming friends with our frustration. And why do we try to become friends with our frustration? Because that is effectively, our frustration points us to our insecurity, right? And when we feel energetically insecure and frustrated, then it shows us the force of care by which we try to apply things to, right? There's a world of possibility. What if I told you there's a world of possibility on the other side of your frustration? I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it. I know that you don't want to hear it. But I feel like that's what needs to be focused on right now for those with Aries placements. I would like to introduce you to the possibility that there is a world of possibility on the other side of your frustration, right? Bottom of the deck, the only way out is through, right? Through our frustration, possibility, right? Because that is the work that we do to shore up our frustration. It's the space by which we identify and recognize and here's the thing about it. It can sometimes feel incremental, right? It's incremental work. It's frustrating because it's incremental work. But it's incremental and it's important, right? And I keep on seeing, and I think it's interesting too, because I feel like there's something happening right now for Aries placements around shaving off of minutes. I'm not surprised I'm seeing something like that around, because yeah, and I want to point this out, Neptune and Saturn often talk to us about the difference between worn and polished, which is the modality by which we effectively feel worn down when we're actually polishing something, and the modality by which we often feel the easement, right? The easement that we effectively bring to things that allow the space by being polished is often what is demarcated by perpetual repetition. So I feel like there's something really important there. And a lot of that force that I see is Aries articulating upon things that they energetically care about. So this is important for Aries placements, because I feel like, in a way, like I feel like something about the Aries placements are energetically wizening, but like, which is being able to bring insight or experience to something in a way that one feels more fortified about it. Thank you so much, Aries. We're going to continue right now into Taurus placements. Can I get 3 cards for Taurus, please? 3 cards for Taurus. Oh, oh, there's the same card out again. We got the Three of Wands in its reversal. Can I get a second card, please? The Moon card in its upright. Oh my goodness. And one more. The Wheel of Fortune. Oh my gosh. This is a culmination for Taurus right now. This is a continuation of Taurus going, like navigating Uranus in Taurus. And here's the thing about it. And I've been feeling a little bit for all my Taurus placements out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. How's that change going? How's that change going? And here's the thing about it. And you have to understand, I've been talking about this. We haven't been talking enough about it. I'm surprised we're not talking about it more. Uranus in Taurus is difficult. It's rough stuff because you have to understand that Uranus is often the planet of change. Okay? It's literally the planet of discomfort. Okay? And so Uranus in Taurus, in the house of Taurus, can often feel for a Taurus like the worst nightmare kind of energy. It's like, oh look, oh goody, like the force of change. Oh goody for the Taurus placements. Oh there it goes. Yes. Well look, yes, the force of change. Like the force of change, Uranus, like a wrecking ball through the house of Taurus, right? It can often create the modality of recognizing our it can often be the space by which we can feel our volatile relationship to change, right? And this is just the truth of it. And healthy Tauruses recognize this about themselves, right? As soon as Taurus recognizes it, they start to heal it, right? Which is the observation of Taurus coming into being like, yeah, I've got a very complicated relationship with change in any way, in any way. Even if the change is good, you'll often see this with Taurus, even when the change is good, even when the change is positive, Taurus is like, you know, so we see that there's a little bit of that energy here. And I feel like this is helping Taurus, right? And I love this Wheel of Fortune because this Wheel of Fortune's got their arms open in the Tarot of the Divine, right? Like give the change a hug. I mean, like there's Taurus and there's change going like hug, hug. So I feel like it's hard because like and I feel like the nice thing about this is I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Taurus that are coming to terms, right? They're coming to terms with their volatile relationship with change. And once we do that, then we can start to feel more comfortable with it, right? And I feel like that is a continuation of what we've been articulating about, because you have to understand, Uranus is finally moving out of Taurus, I believe, on the 25th, right after that Taurus new moon energy. So it's a continuation, it's a perpetuation of continuing to step out of a comfort zone to find a deeper sense of comfort. And I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, um, I think there's something I'm picking up that's important for Taurus as it relates to belonging. And I need to point out, belonging is cultivated. It's not found. I know you don't like to hear that, but I'm going to say it again. Okay? Belonging is not found. It's cultivated, right? And I feel like this is potentially some Taurus energy that's getting better at recognizing that. I feel like that's what Taurus needs to write down. That when we feel out of place, right? The nature of the situation isn't one that creates a space of departing, but allowing the space by which we understand and reaffirm to ourselves that belonging is cultivated, right? And that the only way to find belonging is to effectively be present in spaces that create discomfort within us. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, Page of Wands in its upright, right? It's vulnerable. It's vulnerable stuff looking for belonging because it requires us to step out of our comfort zone. But that's how we find it. And so I feel like in a way there's a lot of Taurus right now that are potentially working on healing child wounds, inner child wounds, as it relates to feeling out of place. There's a lot of Aries energy is what I'm picking up right now in Taurus cycles. But I'm also not surprised to see that, given the fact that there are so many planets right now in Aries while we're going through this Taurus season. So make sure, and I want to describe this for Taurus. Change does not require you to contort, right? You shouldn't be in the space by which you feel completely like in a space by which you have to change, but a little bit of change every day leads to beautiful, beautiful habits. Beautiful, 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 a beautiful life is cultivated by small changes in the best way possible. Thank you so much, Taurus. Continuing now, the next sign that we're going to be reading for today is we're going to be reading for Gemini. 3 cards for Gemini, please. Highest priority messages for Gemini. What do we got here? They're all undercover. Yeah, well, I can see why. We got a 9 of Wands here and it's upright. A King of Wands in its reversal with a Queen of Swords in its reversal? What's going on, Gemini? This is like, this is some hermit energy. It is. It's undercover Gemini energy. I hadn't even pulled the cards yet. I want to point out. I feel like there's some Gemini going, am I psychic? Am I psychic? Let's work through this. I feel like there's something, here's the thing about it. And I want to describe this. The funny thing, and I like to point this out, I always love this. There are very few Geminis in this world that believe they're psychic. There's a psychic Gemini that will convince themselves that they're just really good at seeing things. It's like I will point this out. Like Gemini energy is really funny because you will see a Gemini where another person watch if you ever want to watch a Gemini like just completely like reveal their own thinking. It's like when you try to give a Gemini a compliment, like the Gemini will be like, well, then articulate the reasons by which what they're doing isn't special. It's like, oh no, like here's all the ways that one does it. And even in the space by which they can break something down, they don't realize that it's exceptional. Like that's the thing with Gemini energy that's so delightful when you know a Gemini is like a Gemini will literally there's that Gemini that's moving around that'll effectively be in a state by which they're doing something exceptional. And they will literally be like, no, because I know how I'm doing it. It's not that special. And being like, just because I'm going to hold your hand when I say this to you, Gemini, just because you can explain how you do something special doesn't mean it's still not exceptional. Okay. Just because you can explain how you do something special does not mean that it's still not exceptional, is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like that's really important because I feel like there's a lot of Gemini right now that carries, and I want to point this out because this sometimes happens with Gemini placements, which is, they're very, like, Gemini placements are very good at picking up new things, right? Gemini placements are very good at picking up new things. It's holding on to those things, right? It's refining them. And I feel like this is what is happening for some of the, like there's a Gemini, like I feel like for some of the Gemini energy right now, trying to learn something or do something that does not come naturally. Ah, now we're learning something. Now we're understanding the difference between adept and adapting. That's what's happening right now for Geminis. They're learning, the Gemini energy is learning the difference between adept and adapting, which is the modality by which when we like, and this often happens with Geminis because there's a lot of Gemini energy that is very it's adept energy, right? Which is like, got it. But adapting can sometimes feel a little bit more frustrating because it doesn't come naturally, right? And it can make us feel energetically insecure. Bottom of the deck. That insecurity you're feeling is the sound of you getting stronger. Okay? That insecurity you're feeling, I want you to understand that insecurity, like this is the message from all that Aries placement. The insecurity you're feeling right now, Gemini, learning to do something you haven't done before, that is literally the sound. That is what most people feel when they're learning something. Most people feel that all the time. Okay? Most people feel that all the time. So I want you to recognize that. And I feel like this is allowing yourself the ability of being patient with your own insecurity, because that insecurity shapes the foundation of healthy learning. So hold it reverently, not frustratingly. Thank you, Gemini. Next sign we are reading for today is going to be Cancer. 3 cards for Cancer, please. Highest priority messages, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. One's out. Come on. I got a little old card here, too. You're in the wrong deck. What are you doing there? All right, one more, please. Oh. We've got the 3 of Swords for Cancer coming up first. Strength card in its reversal. Page of Cups in its reversal. I think that there's something really important that I'm seeing for Cancer placements right now in the difference between someone doing something for the self versus someone doing something for themselves is what I'm seeing here. And what do I mean by that? um, the space by which we do things. I mean, and here's the thing about it. Sometimes when we're in energetic alignment, alignment is beautiful. And what do we mean when we talk about alignment? The reason alignment is beautiful is when we talk about alignment, then we're effectively talking about the fact that our interests align, right? This is what's beautiful about aligned partnerships, because it's the modality by which you don't, like, someone does not feel begrudging in relationality to the direction that a manifestation goal is going, right? There's no begrudging energy in alignment points. Now but here's the thing about it. There's also something to be said about the work that we do for one another that recognizes the fact, it recognizes the fact of being able to step outside of our comfort zone, right? And often, and I want to point this out, this is often where, and cancers are very attenuated to this. I need to point this out. Cancers are very attenuated to being able to notice the difference between someone doing something. Like, I keep on hearing the difference between someone that claims that they're doing something for another that they just eagerly want to do anyway, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I keep on hearing like the false sense of giving, being like, look what I did, and being like, you would have done that anyway. Like, you'll never see a Cancer depart from a situation quicker than when somebody starts like when Cancer sees somebody overly articulating upon an energetic sacrifice that they're making and being like, you're there, you literally would have done that anyway. Like, if there wasn't another thing there, right? And you'll often see this, right? The the pantomime of letting go of something in order to get our way. Like, Cancers are super attenuated to that versus someone who actually goes out of their way, right? Like somebody who effectively goes the extra mile. The energy that always, like, effectively is conscientious about what other people think about and care about. And I feel like there's something really important about that that's happening right now for those with Cancerian placements. And I feel like it also has to do in the understanding of their own sensitivity in terms of intention. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, like, and I got to point this out. Like, this 9 of, like, I want to talk about this. Like, this is the sound of never seeing like, and I want to point this out. I think that there's something important that I see that's happening right now about Cancerian energy talking about things. Okay. And here's the thing about, and I'm going to say this to Cancer. I feel like I've said this. I say this to Cancers a lot. Okay. When you hermit up, you deny yourself the healing conversation. And that doesn't mean you don't have to hermit up, but give someone the opportunity to explain before you make a determination. Okay? Because here's the thing about it. Sometimes there are extenuating circumstances to your intuition, right? Sometimes there are extenuating circumstances. And now is not the time. I'm going to say this right now, Cancer. Now, especially with Jupiter in Cancer, now is not the time to get overly sensitive about things. Now is the time to ask healthy questions. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Cancer. Please listen to me. Okay? And I know you don't like me saying that. Like I know every Cancer is like, but I don't want to hear. I know I don't want to hear the but. I don't want to hear the but. Okay? I want to hear the yet. Okay? I don't want to hear the but. I want to hear the yet. Okay? Continuing to get clarification. Moving into Leo's. What's going on with our lion today? Leo, sun, moon, rising. What's up? 1. Ooh, these cards are everywhere. 2. Freewheeling cards today for Leo. 3. Ooh, we got a 6 of Wands coming out. And a 6 of Pentacles. Oh, no. And a 6 of Pentacles in its reversal. And a 2. Oh, man. I saw this energy coming for Leo right now with two of Pentacles in its reversal. You know, here's the thing, man. I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, Leo. Like, here's the thing. Like, you know, and I need to point this out. Here's Leo. Like, here's just Leo, like, minding their own business. Like, trying to spread compassion. And I want to say this to my Leos, okay? There is some energy in this world. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There is some energy in this world that would not recognize compassion if you hit them on the head with it. Okay? Like there's some energy. There is some energy in this world. Okay? I know it's ridiculous. Okay? I know it's ridiculous. And I can see, like, I can literally see, and we call that the audacity. Okay? And like Leo placements know this. Like the audacity of some energy when they cannot recognize compassion. Like if you could they would not recognize compassion if you literally, like, if you put a billboard up, like if you like, what are those planes, like what are those planes with like the thing on them, you know, like the, you could write it in the sky, you know, and some energy would be like, but what did they mean by that, right? Like, it's like, and that, you know, here's the thing, that is not your fault that someone else can't let go of their trauma. It is not your fault, but it is also not your place to have to be another person's doormat if they're not ready to let go of it. And you know, and I feel like that's the hard part with some of the Leo energy right now, with all of these planets in Aries, which is the modality of Leo. And I've been kind of saying this with this energy, being like, oh look, what are these claws for, right? Like the whole thing I need to point out, and this often happens with Leos, and I always, like, you know, Leos literally go around doing everything they can to keep their claws retracted. The amount of work that you will see that often a healthy Leo will do to keep their energetic claws retracted will only be remarked upon, like only in the space. And this is why when a Leo has to bring their claws out, that's usually the last thing you see of them, right? Like the last, and this is often, like, you'll notice this, right? The last thing you often see of the best Leo that you'll ever experience in your life is those claws coming out. And that's the modality, because that's a Leo. And I want to point this out. That's not the Leo devastated. That's the Leo profoundly disappointed, right? And that's not the Leo disappointed in themselves. That's the energy of a Leo that says, I cannot believe it has come to this, right? And that modality is often one that is predicated with what has effectively arrived before that has required the Leo to have to be in the modality by which they have to be like that, because Leos hate it. Like, absolutely hate it. You know? Bottom of the deck. Yeah, look at that. You see, and that's the thing about it, right? Like, this is like, and this is often, like, I'll tell you right now, strength card in its reversal is like literally like Leos walk. This is why you'll see Leos that are actively grieving for people that still exist. Because the modality by which, right, the space by which a Leo feels that they have to be energetically protective is the space by which they see ugliness in another, right? It's the modality by which the energy says, I don't want to, like, Leos aspire for things to be beautiful. And often, and I like to point this out, often the space by which a Leo has to get ugly is predicated by a conversation, right? The modality by which another person is articulating upon it that tells you everything you need to know. And I feel like that's what's happening right now for Leos. And I'll put it this way, Leo, don't be upset at yourself. Okay, don't be upset at yourself if another person, right? If another person makes that determination, that's their choice, not yours, is all I keep on seeing. All right. You cannot blame yourself for others' choices, but you can articulate upon your energetic disappointment related to them. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Leo. And then continuing on our astrology for today is we've got here Virgo. Virgo, can I get 3 cards for Virgo, please? 3 cards for Virgo. Highest priority messages. 1, 2, and 1 more, please. We've got the 3 of coins in its upright, the Emperor in its reversal, Knight of Wands. Virgo needs a vacation. I'm not sure what's been going on right now for Virgo, but this feels like no sanctuary, right? Virgo, you deserve an energetic sanctuary space. And I keep on hearing, here's the thing about it. Sanctuaries are the way we find sanctuary is by creating healthy boundaries. And healthy boundaries, like the way that we are effectively able to navigate energy that is respective of us, is energy that effectively does not require us to reaffirm our boundaries over and over and over again, right? The difference between someone being respective of a boundary and testing a boundary is the modality by which we articulate, and I keep on hearing, and this is important too, so long as, and Virgo, you know this, so long as our boundaries are not our trauma masquerading as standards. I feel like this is important. So long as our boundaries are not trauma masquerading as standards, which is the modality by which we feel we have a standard that we can't explain, and that would be an unreasonable standard, which is often the sign of someone who has, right? Like that's not a standard. That's trauma in disguise. I feel like there's something that's happening right now for Virgo in terms of having to articulate the difference between those things, right? You can't, and this is why when we see silly standards, right? And this is why there are such things as silly standards, because anything that is a silly standard is a standard that lacks an explanation. And a silly standard that lacks an explanation 9 times out of 10 is trauma in disguise, right? And so I feel like, if anything, like I just want to point out, I just want to show you these cards with Virgo, right? Because I kind of love this for Virgo, because the thing is, we know this, like Virgo, you listen, Virgo has never seen a rule that they didn't like. Virgos and rules, like Virgos are like, look at that, look at that, look at that rule. That's a good rule right there. Where'd you get that rule? Where'd you find that rule? Can you tell me a little bit about it? You know what I mean? Like the Virgos get like, but here's the thing about it. This is also why when Virgo sees a rule that is Like I keep on like I want to describe it dumb, but what I mean by dumb is dumb means literally there's no explanation for it. Virgo's like that's not a rule. Right? That's not a rule. Like, Virgo's like make sure you're explaining it to somebody, right? Make sure that you're explaining. I feel like it's requiring a conversation. But and I want to describe this. Listen, here's the thing about it. And I need to point out actually, make sure Virgo, I know I said it was dumb, but don't say it's dumb. You know what I mean? Okay? Because explain. Well, ask questions, right? Don't tell somebody that their rule is dumb. Lead them to I keep on saying, don't tell someone a rule is dumb. Lead them to the dumb place, which is saying to somebody, okay, like, okay, can you explain this gap here? Like showing another person, help them see it, okay, don't just say it, please don't just say it, help them see it, okay, you're doing blessed work today if you do that, okay, save yourself an argument. Continuing to get clarification today. Next sign that we're reading for is gonna be we're reading for Libra, my Libras, my Libra babies. Can I get 3 cards, please? Ooh, oh, interesting. What is this? Another, please. Mm-hmm. Whoa! And one more. Wow, that is some balanced stuff. Libra. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Other signs, these cards, I would be concerned. This is good. This is good stuff for Libra. And I'm just going to show you the cards. And when you see them, and when I say any other sign but Libra, I would be like a little bit stressed, but not this. Because look at this. We've got Knight of Swords in its upright. Okay. We got Queen of Swords in its upright. All right. Now check this out. Ready for this one? Look at this. We got the Chariot in its upright. That is a well-oiled machine right here. You see that? And this is the thing about it. Like, and I want to point this out. Like the thing about Libra energies absolutely love a well-oiled machine, right? Because it's the observation or the understanding of what feels energetically harmonious, right? And this is what we do when we're building into enmeshed partnerships, right? And enmeshed partnerships build into fluidity, which is the modality by which we effectively build into the context of being able to see what's energetically possible when we work on prioritizing harmony, right? And what's beautiful about this is for a lot of the energy that effectively does that work, right? Like this is a lot of Libra energy that often, right, that works into harmony. And the space by which we work into harmony starts with the context of the self. It starts with the internal aspiration by which we bring forth things within ourselves. And so I feel like there's something like I like the fact like this is effectively like when you look at these cards together, we see that these are effectively replicating healthy scales, right? Because we've got the modality by which, like you see here, like you've got, like when you've got alignment, right? When you've got energetic alignment, then it creates, it's interesting because I was going to say equate, but I got requates. So what does requates mean? It allows us to rebalance, right? It allows the self to re-equate things. And re-equating things, I feel like for a lot of the Libra energy, understanding that a lot of the balance that we strive for is conducive on having healthy environmental factors is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like that's important too, because for a lot of the energy, I feel like it's building into the context of, um, and it's interesting because there's Emperor energy here as well, right? It's interesting. It almost feels like there's some Leo energy right now in the Libra space. And the reason I feel like we're potentially seeing that right now is the best way I can describe it is the observation of being able to effectively identify the I keep on hearing the difference between often the sound, like I feel like that I just keep on getting something about Libras understanding this. A healthy compromise is one by which everybody leaves a little unsatisfied. Libras understand this, and this is why there's something important that Libras often have a hard time in navigating energy, like greedy energy around them for that reason, because the modality by which a Libra feels taken advantage of is in the modality by which they recognize that another person sees that their desire to harmonize allows them to be greedy, right? Like that's the last you ever see of that Libra, because that observation is often one by which, like, and you'll see this with Libra placements, like the space by which another thinks solely for the self becomes repugnant and repellent, specifically because it is antithetical to building into the context of harmony. So I feel like that's almost like there's a lot of there's a lot of protectiveness here, right? But I almost feel like the protectiveness I'm seeing has a lot to do with Libra articulating upon, right? The repugnance, like the repugnance of a choice that is specifically that specifically is solely based upon the consideration of the self rather than the consideration of the energy around the self is what I keep on seeing. So make sure, I feel like the thing about it though is like I feel like for a lot of Libra, like recognize your words are blessed, and the way that the context by which you articulate how you feel is not even not coming into an accusatory space, but coming into a space by which I keep on hearing observe, don't absorb is what I keep on getting, right? That's just something that's important there as well. Thank you so much for having that reading, Libra. Continuing forward right now, the next sign that we're reading into is hold on a moment. The next sign we're reading into today is Scorpio. How are my Scorpios doing today? 3 cards for Scorpio, please. 3 cards for Scorpio. Ooh, I like me. We got an Ace of Wands flying out of the deck. We like an Ace of Wands. Can I get another card for Scorpio, please? Thank you. This one does not want to be shown yet. Oh, and the Chariot again. With the Lovers. Oh my goodness. Is this vacation? You going on a vacation, Scorpio? This is like, I feel like for a lot of, this is like, I don't know what's up. Scorpio is checked out. Like Scorpio is, I don't know if Scorpio is planning a vacation or identifying something. Like this feels like there's a lot of heavy planning energy here, right? What I keep on hearing for Scorpio, I like to point this out. Scorpios work harder when they have something to look forward to. Scorpios, you ever want to see a Scorpio like get like hustle? Like Scorpios hustle when they've got a deadline. And that deadline is like what I like to point out, it's not a deadline, it's a joy line. Scorpios thrive with joy lines, which is the modality. Here's the reason why. I'll just walk you through it. Scorpios prioritize being able to fully immerse themselves in experiences, right? Like Scorpios strive to not have anything in the back of their mind when they're truly trying to enjoy something. So here's the thing about it, and I'll just tell you, Scorpios terrible with deadlines. Like you give a Scorpio a deadline, they will blow the deadline. You give them a joy line. You give a Scorpio a joy line. You say like there's a pizza party on the other side of this. Or you give them some kind of context of celebration, vacation, some kind of joy, to be found after accomplishing something, you will see a Scorpio get something done so quickly. And not just the fact that they get it done, it's because they don't want it in the back of their mind. They don't want it, they don't want the bitterness of unfinished work to spoil an exquisite moment. And I feel like this is some kind of scorpionic energy that is that is working through something with that realization, right? And they need a joy line. Yeah, there it is. All of this with traveling. So I wouldn't be surprised right now. It feels like heavy planning for scorpionic energy and almost articulating to another, right? The ability of giving themselves, I keep wondering, like Scorpios don't really give themselves little treats daily, but they'll give themselves big treats. So this is a little bit of that big treat energy is what I keep on seeing. But here's the thing about it, like that I feel like there's something about that here that says, and I keep on getting, it doesn't have to be something, it doesn't, here's the thing about it, it doesn't have to be something grand, Scorpio, right? Give yourself a little bit of joy to look forward to and see if that changes your energetic mindset about something, okay? Or, and here's the other thing, give that to someone else. Give that to someone else, right? But also remember that some do better with deadlines, and not you, but sometimes others do, right? So if everybody else needs a deadline, give yourself a joy line. All right, let's continue right now. Thank you, Scorpio. The next sign we're reading for today is Sagittarius. 3 cards for Sagittarius, please. 3 cards for Sagittarius. 1, 2, and 1 more, please. What do we have here? Ooh, 10 of Cups in its reversal. 5 of Wands in its reversal. King of Pentacles in its upright. Wow, this is some serious energy around Sag here. Very serious for Sag. Here's the thing. There's something, Sagittarian energy often works into the context of, you know, let's talk about what it means to clock somebody. Okay. And the thing about it is, and I want to stress this, and here's the thing about it, and this is, and Sages don't admit this. Sages are expert clockers. Sages are, and here's the, you'll never, like, you'll see a Sag and be like, I always had a feeling, and Sages are never happier than when they clock somebody and it reaffirms the energetic intuition that they had in the first place, right? That's like often the full circle moment. Like that's the full circle moment. Like that is the full circle moment for Sages, like the sweet sound that comes out of a Sage's face when they say, I knew it. Right? Like I knew it. Like never are there sweeter words that escape a Sage's lips than the modality by which they're able to say, I knew it. Right? Like it's like, and I want to describe, because the thing about it is you have to understand that um Sages often, like I never understand someone who sees a Sag, and I always like to point this out. I always feel like in a way, like what people articulate Scorpios are what actually Sages are. You know what I mean? Like I always like to point out, and it's the same thing that I always describe, like like Taurus, like Taurus is not like the bull in the china shop energy. Sometimes the Sag energy is, and often the modality by which, right? Like, and I want to kind of describe this, which is the modality by which, um, like the space by which others often, others often identify, like the space by which another person makes a presumption on another, right? Like Sages clock that. right? Sages clock other people's presumptions real quick. And often in the space by which when another person makes a presumption, like Sages know you let them have that because that's their limitation. It's not yours. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, and I think it has something to do. I feel like there's something important there that's happening right now for Sages. And I want to describe this. Um, there's something important that I often see that Sages go through um, in relationality to like it's funny because the reason it's interesting is because in a way it's like the hangman isn't out like the Four of Pentacles is. But the thing I want to say with the Four of Pentacles that sometimes can be like the hangman, which is like the modality of understanding what it means to clock somebody is being able to recognize what another person's priorities are. And I feel like that's the hard thing with some Sagittarian energy, which is like you can't fix everybody's hearts. I know like it's very similar to the Leo reading I gave, right? Which is the space by which when you see somebody like prioritizing the wrong things, right? Like it's almost like a lecture free zone. You know, it's not the fact that you don't want to lecture someone, but the fact by which and I keep on seeing this, especially if it's not like others like if others are energetically aware, and I will say this, the space by which we articulate that awareness is modified by like our own self-awareness, right? And not sometimes energy is not aware of the fact that they make selfish choices. But I also feel like that awareness is its own form of awareness, right? Because I feel like there's something important there that I'm identifying as it relates to a lot of the Sagittarian energy. Um, like I keep wondering, letting it inform a choice rather than allowing it to inform a choice rather than letting it disturb a choice is what I keep on hearing, right? There's something and it's interesting too because like as soon as I started reading for it, my throat started to clear. So it's like almost like the Sag, like it's like I feel like sometimes conversations help is what I keep on seeing. All right, continuing to get clarification, moving into Capricorn energy. Two cards for Capricorn and one more, please. Oh, we got the Seven of Coins. Oh, it's interesting. The Seven of Coins is like immediately flipped back down on itself. So the Seven of Coins in its reversal. Knight of Cups in its upright. Four of Cups in its reversal. Streamlines and efficiencies. I don't know what it is. I feel like I see Capricorn trying to polish something. Where I see Capricorns trying to shorten the amount of time that something takes. Or trying to identify efficiencies. And I want to point this out. Capricorns have no room for clumsy energy in their life. And I want to describe the clumsiness is the way I need to point this out. There are Capricorn energies and you know this, like Capricorn energies will often have their time scheduled by the minute, right? Capricorn energies, I feel like it's working into the context of time, like time being precious. And when another person, like speaking upon like the last thing you'll ever see of a Capricorn, when a Capricorn is navigating someone who's clumsy with their time, that's often the last that person will ever see of the Capricorn, because the Capricorn is effectively in the space by which I keep on seeing the understanding, right? The observation and the understanding that things are hard to juggle, right? But we juggle things for each other. is what I keep on getting, right? Like, and the space by which, like, it's funny because it does feel like a little bit, I need to point out, it feels like a little bit of hot potato energy here, right? Like that's the thing about it. Like, I just want to show you these cards. Like, these cards to a certain extent almost feel a little bit like hot potato energy because like hot potato energy like hot potato energy is like working through the observation that when there's a lot of things happening, we get better at hot potato. And the reason we get better at hot potato is the modality by which we're effectively able to effectively work through things in a way that allow things to be even better, right? They allow things to be even better than they initially were going to be, right? And so that's what we effectively, I feel like there's something important there that's happening for Capricorn specifically and particularly because it's the energetic appreciation that we build into with one another and giving each other preparation so that we can prepare effectively. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, like again with the devil card in its reversal, right? I feel like there's something in like the hard part about that, and I just want to bring this up to some of the Capricorn's attention. Some energy, and I know this is going to sound crazy to you, is literally does not know what they're doing 1 minute to the next. I know. There is some energy that does not know. They do not have a schedule. I know it sounds crazy to you, but remember that is not someone trying to hurt you intentionally, even though it is, right? And sometimes it requires, I feel like often what sometimes happens with Capricorn energy is giving like not feeling like if another person is bad at scheduling that it's something directed to the self, but understanding that some energy needs help with scheduling is what I keep on getting. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. Continuing right now, the next person on the next sign on the list for today is Aquarius. Can I please get 3 cards for Aquarius? First one out is the Five of Pentacles. Second card out right now is the Nine of Pentacles, and it's a revert upright. A lot of pentacle energy here. And the Two of Wands. Speaking of scheduling, um, I feel like there's something very important that we see with Aquarius energy right now as it relates to working through an abandonment wound. And the thing I'm identifying in terms of like we have to we have to work through, and I feel like this is important. Um, not all There are different types of abandonment wounds is what I keep on seeing. And the thing about it, and I feel like this is what's happening for some Aquarian energy, when we are not comfortable with our own energy, there is some energy that perpetually feels like they're in a state of abandonment because they're trying to get away from themselves, right? This is why we have to navigate the lack space within. Because if we don't navigate the lack space within, then it feels like we're often dealing with a perpetual abandonment wound, right? And there are effectively, right? There are different abandonment wounds that we effectively identify. Now, the true abandonment wound, right? The true abandonment wound is often one by which one is able to identify something that one has received negligence upon, right? Abandonment wounds are the result of negligent trauma, which is a trauma by which another person experiences trauma because they were not taken in consideration as it relates to a choice that has occurred, right? The modality by which we understand that true abandonment wounds are often demarcated in spaces by which another person was not taken into energetic consideration, right? I feel like there's some Aquarian energy that's working to truly heal that, right? As it relates as oppositional to a perpetual, like someone who experiences a perpetual abandonment wound, which is the modality by which one is always articulating upon the feeling of feeling energetically left out of things that springs from the modality or the experience by which, right, the over concentration upon the self that often occurs in relationality to, right, the space by which one is not comfortable with one's own energy. So I feel like there's something really important about that, because I keep on seeing, right? I keep on seeing, like, especially with the Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles and its upright, right? The ability to effectively, right? The ability to, I keep on hearing, the ability to effectively identify a true abandonment wound is the modality by which one is able to recognize and realize the space by which another person's feelings have not been taken into consideration fully, that allows one to be able to heal something in a deeper way. So I feel like there's a lot of conversations around Aquariuses, either about trauma that they themselves have experienced in that way, or the modality or the experience by which they themselves have had to navigate experiences in the past by way or by means of understanding and recognizing what actually, like, building into the context of what feels energetically supportive to the self in relationality to the ability of being able to see different sides of situations. Bottom of the deck on this reading, a lot of this Knight of Cups, right? And the thing with this Knight of Cups energy that I keep on seeing, and I want to point this out, I feel like there's a lot of this Knight of Cups energy that we're seeing with Aquarius that has to do with the ability of being able to feel our feelings, right? We're able to feel our feelings because I keep on hearing feelings are healthy, feelings are reasonable. And I feel like it's hard because Aquarians often have that tendency of being able to disassociate very quickly. But the thing is, um, moving into disassociation is also an abandonment wound, right? Like, often the modality by which we learn to disassociate springs from the abandonment wound that we first experienced. So I feel like there's a lot of Aquarian energy that is identifying or recognizing experiences wherein they confused disassociation for healing, right? Healthy healing does not require us to disassociate. Healthy healing requires us to be able to feel our feelings and still be able to navigate with those feelings. But I feel like there's a lot of healing that is required there as it relates to certain experiences. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Final sign for today's readings are Pisces. Can I get 3 cards for Pisces, please? 3 cards for Pisces. And one more, please. We've got the Eight of Pentacles in its upright. We've got the High Priestess in its reversal. And we've got the Hierophant in its upright. What's going on right now, Pisces? What's got you doubting yourself? I need to point this out. Here's the thing about it. A High Priestess is a High Priestess, regardless of whether it's in its reversal or it's in its upright. And the thing I want to describe about this, particularly for a lot of the Piscean energy, is I want to describe that today might be a little bit, like, it might be a little bit strange for Piscean energy, specifically because we see that Mars is transiting out of Pisces into Aries. So it could effectively trigger some abandonment wounds, right? Like, speaking upon abandonment wounds, like often when we see, like, energy moving out of Pisces, that it can bring up a lot of sentimentality or a lot of emotions about the past, is what I keep on seeing. Remember, the present, like, the way to heal from the past is to have one's hands full of present, which is the modality or the experience by which we're able to recognize and identify what it is that we're working to absolve, resolve, or change in our own experience. Because I feel like there's a lot of inner child healing that is potentially coming up right now for Piscean placements. And I want to describe this because this can sometimes feel um, I'll just show you the Hierophant, right? The Hierophant and the High Priestess together in this way can sometimes, like, how do I describe this? Um, it can often create the state by which, like, there's a lot of big energy there, right? And the thing about it is, and I feel like there's either one or two different modalities that those with Piscean placements are navigating, right? And this is literally what we often see, that when I see these two cards together, it can often talk, like it talks to me about working through inner child healing, because it's remembering that inner child healing is not healing about the person that we were when we were a child. It's healing from the person we were when we thought we knew everything, right? It's healing from the person that we were when we thought we knew everything. So I feel like this could be working through experiences or circumstances by way of either experiences by which Pisces is healing from someone who effectively was not listening to them, is what I keep on seeing, right? The modality of feeling energetically frustrated in trying to communicate with another and feeling like one was not able to. Or this could be triggering to Piscean placements in terms of feeling the space by which one did not hear what another person was trying to say to them. So I want you to understand, in either one of those contexts, if it feels like there's something you're understanding, like congratulations, right? Like that means that there's something important that you're able to effectively work upon or learn through. So I feel like for a lot of the energy right now, like this is like it's heavy stuff, but it's heavy stuff that feels like it's affirming, because often the ability to, I keep on hearing, the ability to observe something in the past that we could not see before is always a celebratory moment, because it means that we're understanding ourselves more. Bottom of the deck, yeah, especially with the Five of Pentacles, there's the like that it hurt, like it's like the abandonment wounds are there, right? But I feel like the understanding, right? Um, if you see something then that a past version of yourself could not see, then congratulations, you're already changing, right? And that modality of being able to work through things in a way, like it's not easy and it can sometimes feel disruptive or painful, but it also, it also, like, I keep wondering, like, the guides don't show us things to hurt us. The guides show us things when they recognize that we're ready to see or receive them. So be conscientious about holding yourself dearly if you feel like you're going through those experiences, because those observations um, are effectively there to help us understand ourselves even further. That is our tarot astrology for the day. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for private reading. I'll never DM you, never PM you. I'll never slide into your inbox and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who participated in our recent class on the court cards in the cup suit. Our next class will be held on Friday, April 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the court cards in the wand suit. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning the next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my stack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of readings, you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class system. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my Mystic Meditation articles there, which give you updates on everything we've been seeing in the cards. I just wrote one recently on this full moon energy. I'll be having one out shortly on the new moon energy we've got coming up. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer to those who are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey, as well as dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.